So I want to speak to you now about mindsets and about the mindsets that you entertain. The thought processes, the thinking, the perspective, the attitude, the beliefs, the values that you hold are all key. They're all essential to determining the outcomes in your life. And so when we're thinking about mindsets, you have to ask yourself, what is your approach to situations and circumstances? How do you deal with and address difficulties, struggles, situations and circumstances that present a hindrance, a barrier, a hurdle, an obstacle in your life, in your relationship, in your business, in your workplace, or in your health? Because your mindsets play a fundamental role in determining a chain of reactions internally and externally that will manifest itself based on what you are thinking. Thoughts create things. And so it's really important that you begin to look at, investigate, study, and pay careful attention to your mindsets or mind traps that you entertain. The stinking thinking or positive thinking that you use to navigate through your situations and circumstances is key. It's fundamental because, as Napoleon Hill said, a positive mind finds a way it can be done, and a negative mind looks for all the ways it can't be done. And you know, there is something that's known as the placebo and the nocebo effect. The placebo effect has been known for over 100 years in medical science. And it is when someone believes that they're taking a medication that will heal them when they've only been given a sugar pill. And it is their belief, it is their thought processes, it is their attitude, it is their mindset, it is their focus point that determines their healing. Because where the mind goes, the energy flows. But on the flip side of that, because there's two sides to every coin in life, we have up and down, we have positive and negative, we have heat and cold, we have summer and winter, we have life and death, we have yes and no. And on the opposite side, we have that negative mindset, which is the nocebo effect, which is where there is certain things that are not actually happening, but because we think on those negative things, we actually create and manifest them in our lives. And every single one of us has experienced that at some point in our lives, where we were worrying about something, anxious about something, fearful about something, worried about something. And we invested all this negative energy into it, to find that that thing never actually happened. But we created that energy, that negativity, that worry, that stress, that impact on our body, because our bodies keep a score of all of those imaginations that we thought were going to happen that actually never manifested. That is the nocebo effect. That can actually make people create sickness within themselves, because every disease starts with a dis-ease in the mind. And so we have to be very careful of our mindsets, of our thought processes, of what we are entertaining in this powerful device is critical, because it all comes down to what you feed yourself daily. And this is the essential point that I want you to get from this. It comes down to what you are feeding yourself on a daily basis. And some of you are feeding yourself the news, trauma, drama, chaos, negativity, violence, discord. And as a result of that, you are projecting that out in your life. You're worrying why you're concerned and worried and anxious and confused and frustrated, because what you are feeding yourself is what is then manifesting in your life. Your eye gates and your ear gates are fundamental, because whatever you allow to go through those, they change you. They change you. Whenever you hear good and positive advice and you take it on board, it changes you. You do things differently. Well, the same thing can happen for negative. And you wonder, why do I feel anxious? Why am I frustrated? Why do I feel this way? It's because of what you allow to go through your gates, your eye gates and your ear gates. What you are feeding yourself daily will determine your outlook on life, your perspective, your vantage point in which you look at things. You can either see the world as a wonderful place or a terror, a dangerous place that you have to protect yourself. And so it's really important. What are you feeding yourself daily? What are you reading? What are you listening to? And yeah, social media is a great tool and mechanism that has caused and allowed so many great things to happen. But it's also caused so many negative things to manifest. Depression has gone up. Suicide rates has gone up. And all of these things coincide with when social media came out. So it's important. What are you feeding yourself? What self-help books? What books are you reading to create a growth mindset? What books are you reading to develop your finances, your self-esteem, your confidence, your leadership skills? What are you feeding yourself daily? Because if you are not eating of the positive, of the elevating and the good things, but you're savaging and digesting and eating continuously of, doomsday information, the news. The news does not give us any positive information. It doesn't talk about great things that happen. It doesn't talk about, success and people who are doing really well. Because negative news sells. That's what people want to hear. And so we have to be very careful. What are you tuning into? Assess the last week and what you have given yourself over to. And when you weigh up in the balance, is there more positive than negative? I hope so, because it's key. It's fundamental. And so when we are thinking about diet, it's good to think about what you're putting into your body in terms of food. And we want to make sure that we do have a healthy balance and we're eating our 5 fruits a day, 5 veg a day, that we're having that balanced diet. But just and equally as important is your mental diet. It's what you're feasting on mentally. It's what you're chewing over, mulling over, and speaking out into existence. And so just imagine for a moment, if we're thinking about food, and just imagine if these was your daily bread. If you was eating these foods day, morning, noon, and nighttime, and it was just a combination of these, Nando's and then pizza and then McDonald's and then Pizza Hut and then KFC and then Subway and then Burger King. Over time, what do you think would happen to your body? How would it start to operate as a result of that? What complications would come up? Would you be constipated? Would you be in pain? Would your body not have the right amount of energy, not be able to do things for a longer period because it's not receiving the right diet? Well, the same thing is true for your mind. And so if we are constantly thinking on things like fear, false evidence appearing real, and we're allowing that to consume us and to afflict us and cause for cortisol to be released in unhealthy amounts in our body. If we're dwelling on worry and we're taking on the worry chain and we're just consumed by what could go wrong, what might go wrong, what has gone wrong in the past, if we are downtrodden by anxiety, having panic attacks, and constantly fearing the future, creating problems that ain't even there. And if we are doomed by doubt, constantly double checking ourselves, doubting ourselves, wondering if we can. If we are bound by anger, and rage and bitterness and constantly thinking negatively. Like anger doesn't bring about positivity. Anger brings about more negativity as you focus on what happened, what was wrong, what wasn't done for you. And then we get stuck on the web of negativity. And what happens is it creates an algorithm as these emotions become programmed into our subconscious mind. And so every day we just replay the tape. We wake up and we become consumed by the things of yesterday, yesterweek, yestermonth, and yesteryear. And we allow that to dominate and control how we feel today, constantly living in the past and having that negativity control our life. Like a fly stuck on a spider's web, we cannot move. We're stuck mentally. And then if we are constantly giving air, giving attention, and allowing ourselves to be given over to the authority of limiting beliefs that dominate your life, that keep you seeing yourself from your limits and your lack and labels that have been put upon you by others. And so as you listen to these voices every day, thinking it's you, not recognizing it's the enemy within that you need to conquer. And so you are a victim to the very thoughts that you choose to entertain. And so we have to start to listen to your inner counselor rather than your inner critic, rather than your limiting beliefs, rather than the rats, the reoccurring afflicted thoughts that want to keep you bound and chained, that wants to keep you stuck, that wants to keep you stagnant and procrastinating so you don't achieve, you don't grow, and you don't develop. Your diet is very important. Think on those things that are good and that are lovely and of good report, the things that will elevate you and lift you up, the things that will give you confidence and hope. Because as you thinketh in your subconscious mind, so you are. And that programming, that algorithm will play itself out in relationships, in environments, and conversations that you have. And you will always see yourself from the perspective of what you believe your identity to be. And so it's important and imperative that you gain control of your mind, your beliefs, your values, and your identity, because that is the driving force that will determine how you look at things, how you speak things into existence, and how you do things in your life. And I just want to leave you with this final quote that came from Jim Rohn. And he was a phenomenal speaker. And one of the things he said is, I found that when you start thinking and saying what you really want, then your mind automatically shifts and pulls you in that direction. You see, what we do not realize is the power and the magnitude of our thinking and our words. These two unseen forces play a pivotal role in 90% of what manifests in your life. When you think about something long enough, hard enough, visualizing, seeing it as you want it to be, and you speak life into that, declaring from a statement of I am, these two elements work together, connecting with the universe to bring about and shift whatever it is that you desire into your life. Now, the brain does not discriminate. Your subconscious mind does not discriminate. It takes on board literally everything you say. So be careful of the words you use, because when you say, I can't, I'm not good enough, I can't make it, and you're speaking these things into being, you are actually creating your future. So be wise with your words. And wisdom tells us to avoid thoughts, words, and statements that weaken us. So stay blessed, stay focused, speak life, see the future that you want, and focus on good things so that you can achieve your goals, your dreams, and your desires. This is Ezra, A.K.A. the voice of reason, over and out.